Yata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Yata Om Gati Gati Paragati Paragati Swaha Yata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the grace here. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantathagato hyavatat chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Okay. Okay, question answers. How to cultivate skillful means. Okay, how to cultivate skillful means. So basically the idea is that for the Bodhisattvas practice there, as we mentioned earlier, if you could remember, that the Shravakas and Brahdik Buddhas, they practice mainly with the help of the renunciation, they practice the wisdom of emptiness. This is the main practice. And of course, meditating on impermanence, suffering, this is all there. Finally, the wisdom of emptiness. So there what happens is that because of this practice, the negativities are stopped. Negativities, afflictions, contaminant karma, particularly negative karmas and afflictions, they're all stopped. So which means we are at the moment very active, and Shravakas and Brahdik Buddhas, they are say in the activities that we have. We are so actively 24 hours busy, and all the activeness, they are mostly garbage. Garbage, they are useless activities which only harm us. The Shravakas and Brahdik Buddhas, they reduce and shrink those activities and make these useless activities, harmful activities, zero. So their mind is more like, their mind is, in terms of the activities, they are not so active now. Bodhisattvas, they are once again very active. You remember, we discussed? We are very active. Shravakas and Bodhisattvas, they reduce the activities. Then Bodhisattvas, they are once more very active, like what we are doing. Only difference between us and the Bodhisattvas, ours one is all garbage and the Bodhisattvas is all meaningful. That's the difference, right? Now, The Charvakas and Bodhisattvas, Charvakas and Predic Buddhas, their job is simply to cut down and to remove the negative activities, negative actions, and the afflictions on the basis of by removing this self-grasping ignorance. So they are in the very serene, calm. Oftentimes there is known as a pacified state, where their mind is so calm, cool, tranquil, and this oftentimes referred to as a peace. Then the Bodhisattvas, they are not happy with this, because this is for personal. Other beings are still suffering, so they want to actually reach out to sentient beings, right? They have great degree of expertise on how to withdraw from the negativities. They have this. After withdrawing from the negativities, they again become very active in reaching out to other sentient beings. So in the process of reaching out to sentient beings, right? Okay, say like, okay, we will do. So now there are so many people who are getting sick. We will do a puja, right? We will do a puja. And then some people say, oh, Geshe-la, it would be good if you can do some puja. There's some people getting sick. Yes, we'll do puja. Yes, I don't mind. Yes, we will all do puja. And some people say, Geshe, what is this puja? I'm not interested in puja. Please explain what is puja. In what way it helps. Like this person is not at all. So therefore, now look, somebody says that, oh, Geshe-la's puja is so good. Then, yes, we do puja. And somebody says, Geshe-la, no puja is good. Then I say, yes, no puja. Then you are lost. So the moment you go out to reach out to others, people, they have all different kinds of thinking. Some say, go for this. Some say, don't go for this. Some say, half. Right? It's just a headache for us. Now the Bodhisattvas, their job is to reach out to others. Right? The mother, to help the beings, right? Reach out to others. When they reach out to others, you should know precisely what the other person wants, right? If you don't know this, if the skillfulness is not there, then you may do more harm than they help. In your best motivation, with your best intention to help others, you may harm the other person, right? Right? Same. If I say that if somebody interest in, say, the practice, Dharma practice is less, it's really less, and I said, hey, Dharma practice is so precious, right? So with the best intention, my helping the person. Dharma practice there's no greater Dharma practice and there's no greater thing than the Dharma practice. It's so precious. You must do at least 10 hours a day. The person will run away from me, never will come back again. Dharma practice, no, please get away. Right? Now, in this, with the best intention, because I'm being so unskilled, you have pushed the person all away from Dharma. Then the person will never come back to Dharma, even in the next life. Very unlikely. Because the person has left an imprint. Geshe-la, welcome. Geshe-la, Tashidele, welcome, Geshe-la. The director of Tibetan Buddhist Cultural Center, Malaysia. Yeah. Amazing, great service that Geshe-la is doing. And last time we went for a program in Malaysia, just before coming here, and Geshe-la was the chief organizer there. Yeah. So this is all the efforts of Geshe-la.
Just arrived, the flight got delayed, but everything is safe.
Thank you for coming. Yeah. Okay. So that the moment the person so what I'm saying is that if one is not skillful, then with the best intention of helping others, you may actually harm others. So therefore it requires skillfulness. Now the question is how to cultivate skillfulness. Skillful means this question, right? Okay. To cultivate the skillful means, the best thing is acquire as much knowledge as possible. Only by knowing, okay, this person, when he behaves like this, how he comes, what kind of dress, with this color, that color, this how the movement from there and facial expression from this, I could see that this is a situation, right? So you should have as vast knowledge as possible, right? For example, if the person has, say, if you have no knowledge of physics, again physics. If you have no knowledge of physics, and then somebody comes and tends to ask the question on physics, right? Physics. Oh, what is the equation, that popular equation, right? And then you have no clue what popular equation. There are so many popular equations. But no, if you are a physicist, you will say, do you mean E equals mc square? Right? Because you know this. So instantly you will be able to help the person. Otherwise, which popular? And then the person will get irritated, you become irritated, and both are not. So therefore, if you have this knowledge, you can easily give, the moment the person just gives you a small clue, you know this. So this is how you should have a vast knowledge. One. Number two is everything that you do, make sure that you do with the awareness. Make sure that you do with the awareness how that affects other things. Like, okay, for example, okay, so my job is to collect all these questions and then hand it over to, say, Andrew, right? This is my job. Okay, Andrew's job is to pick this up and then give it to Wenda. Okay, so my job is to collect all the questions. So the question comes like this. Okay, look, this is exactly how oftentimes it happens. Look, so this is how it comes here. And Andrew has so little time. And then it comes like this. So I quickly read through, and then I keep like this. Right? Sometimes I throw like this. Sometimes I put like this. Sometimes I put like this, right? Then Andrew, the poor Andrew has to pick up again, put everything back. And properly, and even that fell. Right? Put everything back, because when I will ask, why is this not properly? So poor Andrew has to, and he doesn't have time. Whereas when I'm reading, I can put it properly like this. No time to waste. No, properly like this. And bigger ones like this, smaller one like this, and give it to Andrew like this. Andrew, there's no extra job. He can give it directly to. So therefore, if when I do this, I have the sensitivity that he will have a problem. For me, there's no problem. For me, there's no waste of time. Because in any way, I have to put it there. In putting it there, I have to do it very sensitive so that things will be easy for him. This kind of sensitivity will come through sense of concern. Sense of concern will come through your love and affection. Right? So, if you have the love and affection as the fabric, on that basis, whatever you do, see how it affects others. Affects others. Right? And then from this you will learn a lot. So later on, when somebody comes and hands over the papers, just all mixed up like this, from there you can get so many information. If the other person says, with all this is so disorganized, right, and not thinking about the other person, when it gets from this you can see that the compassion is still lacking. And then if the person, I'm interested in Buddhism, please teach me Buddhism. First question that you have to ask is, which element of Buddhism you are interested? The philosophy or compassion? Right? Very likely the person will say philosophy. Wisdom or the compassion? Very likely the person will say with this kind of thing, where the other person, you can easily do it easily without waste of time, But for the other person, it's totally another waste of time. So without this consideration, if just like this, from this you can figure out a lot. So with this vast knowledge, then you can help others so easily. So if the person is interested in compassion, hey, compassion is so important, right? Oh, wisdom will come later. Compassion is so important. Go for compassion. For this compassion, you have to do this certain method, transformation mind, 8-verse mind training. The person will, this is so stupid. Then it is not at all. This is certainly, even the Jesus also said it. All the other religions said this. There's nothing about Buddhism. Some people, they are more inclined into philosophy or the wisdom. So they don't teach so much on emptiness initially. There, you should be able to convince that the wisdom is so sophisticated. The person should be impressed by you, by the wisdom which the Buddha taught, right? And then the person will be ready to listen to you. Then you speak of the compassion, personally you say yes. Otherwise, the person right in the beginning, the person has not seen what the wisdom is. So the person thinks that I and you, we are same, right? And then you say, what is Buddhism? Right? And then you see compassion, the person run away. So therefore, skillfulness meaning you have to know as vast knowledge, and then see in what way you have to ask the question, in what is to be given to the person, right? Once you have these things intact, then as I said earlier, basic framework of all what you do, the compassion should be at the ground. With this compassion, then you'll automatically think of how to make things easy for others. And with this, you will acquire that skill. And the same skill, once you have the skill, you can apply the skill to all other disciplines, all other areas. Right? For example, someone who is so used to doing things so orderly, the same orderliness the person will apply to other things. In fact, one thing I was so fascinated by Tarala was that this picture, the picture of His Holiness, big picture was there. And I said, oh, this is amazing, this is wonderful. So this is something related to what I discussed with the Tarala's friend before, from Australia. What is her name? And yes, Jackie. And then, this is something related to emptiness. And I said, Tarala, the Avalokiteshvara picture, if you have the professional picture taken out of this, Tara said no. And then if this case, you can also take a picture of this. Tara said, I'll also take a picture of this. And in 1 or 2 days, the whole thing just came there. Already taken the picture, professional picture, already taken everything. Everything being done so precisely, one after not delaying, no delay, no laziness, no delay. So precise done. I was so fascinated. Wow. This is what is required for Dharma. Yeah. So this exactly. So what I'm saying is that all these things, if you are so precise in doing one thing, very properly, and that too with the compassion at the foundation, then you will learn so many things in the process. So many things in the process. Then the same practice to the habit that you have done, that you have learned with one discipline, wherever you go, you will apply the same thing. Right? So this way you see that you can easily adapt, you can easily adjust with other people, you can easily adjust with other environments, you can easily adjust with any kind of culture, any kind of the environment. Okay. Okay. Dear Geshe-la, question on entity. Could you verify if example of Mr. Chen's eyes and Mr. Chen's face, for example, say, my eyes and my face, are these two entities by same or different? Face is a whole and the eyes is the part. Face is a whole and my nose is a part. So part and whole is always one entity. When do we stop creating contaminated karmas along the paths and grounds? Very good question. When do we stop creating contaminated karmas? Okay, contaminated karmas, let's say, contaminated karmas, contaminated karmas can be classified in various forms. There are so many ways of classifying the contaminated karmas. One of which is the projecting karma, and the completing karma. Right? Projecting karma and completing karma. Projecting karma means the karma to project you, throw you into samsara with a new birth in samsara. That is projecting karma. Which means that in one life, only one projecting karma is active, is already in motion. Whereas the completing karmas, in one life, millions and trillions of completing karmas can be ripening within one life. For example, completing karma means, okay, let's say somebody wants to buy a house in Singapore, and then you go to real estate, and the person, yes, we have the house of your the desire, and then the person will give you just the skeleton of the house, unfurnished house, right? House, and then that house you cannot change every day. That house is fixed. In most cases, like for life, this same house will be for life. But the furnitures inside, you can change as many times as possible. Once in a year, or once in 2 years, as you like. The furnitures inside, the furnishing you can change as many times as you like. So the furnishings, they are like the completing karmas, and the main structure of the house, that is like the projecting karma. Same, you are born as Singaporean. Now tomorrow you cannot change to I want to be a Tibetan. Then tomorrow you become a Tibetan. Day after tomorrow I want to be Indian. You become an Indian. Impossible. In this life you should remain a Singaporean. Right? Singaporean. Blood-wise, you are Singaporean. In this life, sorry, we can't do anything. You are Singaporean, or if you are happy about Singaporean, amazing, you are lucky that your whole life you are Singaporean, right? Okay, now in my case, even if I want to be Singaporean, right, impossible. In this life, whole my life I'm a Tibetan. Okay, so that is the projecting karma. And then within the, say, after taking birth, the birth, whatever thrown there, that is your projecting karma. Now, once taking birth, okay, you are healthy or sick. Today you are healthy, and tomorrow you have a little bit stomach problem, right? Today healthy means the karma of a good health has ripened, and tomorrow unhealthy means negative karma of the bad health ripens. So within the one projecting karma in motion, so many other projecting karmas can be, karmas can be activated for you to experience pains, happiness, neutral, and so forth. So all these karmas, other karmas ripening, they are known as completing karmas. Completing means to furnish. Whether you're healthy, unhealthy, whether you're rich, poor, educated, uneducated, mentally happy, mentally unhappy, right? And good friends, bad friends, good environment, bad environment, and good water to drink or bad water to drink, right? Like this. All these, they are all the results of the karma, and these karmas are known as the completing karmas. Now, the completing karmas, they are easier to be accumulated. Projecting karmas are more intense karmas. So the projecting karmas, when do you stop accumulating projecting karmas? We stop accumulating projecting karma when you reach the path of seeing. Gate gate paragate. When you reach the path of seeing, whether you are into the Shravaka path or any path, whenever you have direct experience of emptiness, at that point, you stop accumulating projecting karmas, right? Project karmas, but you continue to accumulate, say, contaminated karmas. You continue to accumulate containment karmas, which are the completing karmas, not the projecting karmas. So projecting karma is the one which throw us into samsara. So you stop accumulating karmas which throw us into samsara. So this happens when you reach the path of seeing. In other words, when you see emptiness directly. Okay. Okay, finish. Okay, this is, I don't know whose question is this. They are very serious questions, very good questions also. Okay, and there are many questions also. Okay, I don't know whether others will get the chance. Okay, let's see. The first one. What's validly perceived by the senses are all impermanent phenomena. Okay. What's validly perceived by the senses are all impermanent phenomena. By the senses. But validly perceived. Okay. This is a good question. Same. What is validly perceived by the senses? Senses, the physical senses, let's say physical senses. Physical sense consciousness. Sense consciousnesses. Like, say, nose, eye, ear, they detect the body. And what? Tongue. Okay. Say the physical. Now, according to which school? Okay, who asked this question? Okay. The second question is: does it mean then that what isn't validly perceived by the senses are all permanent phenomena? Is this your question? Okay. Okay. So, the school you would like to prefer, Prasangika or the other schools? Okay. How come that you come up with all these good questions? Okay. Okay, which means you are intelligent. Okay. So according to Prasangika is not necessary because our senses, even the valid eye consciousness, if you remember, except for the non-dual mind, all other consciousnesses are always mistaken. Okay, this is another the concept we did not introduce, right? Okay, we need to introduce this concept. Okay. Mistaken mind and deceptive mind, right? Mistaken mind and deceptiveness. Some part of that is already explained earlier. If you could remember, your mind can be erroneous pertaining to the appearance of the object. Your mind can be erroneous pertaining to the Very good. I'm very happy. I'm waiting for someone else other than Sonamla and others, right? Okay, because Sonamla already heard this so many times. Right? And others, the freshers, still you are able to say this, I'm so happy. So there can be two errors. Error pertaining to the appearance of the object and error pertaining to the apprehension of the object by the subject. Two errors. Okay. Error, when the error happens on the appearance level, that mind is known as mistaken mind. That mind is known as mistaken mind. Error happening on the apprehension level, that mind is known as deceptive mind. Right? Okay. Error happening on the appearance level is known as mistaken mind. Error happening on the apprehension level is known as deceptive mind. Okay, right? Okay, don't ask. What's the difference between deceptive mind and mistaken mind to the English linguists? Don't ask them. Right? This is something typical of Buddhist philosophy. And they would not understand it. Right? Somehow we need to have some words. Some words in Tibetan. Mistaken mind, what I call as mistaken mind in this context, in Tibetan is tulshe. Tulshe. T-R-U-L-S-H-A-Y. Tulshe. And what is mistaken with respect to, what is erroneous with respect to the apprehension of the object is known as lokshe. L-O-G-S-H-A-Y, Lokshay, right? Okay. Now, one thing that we need to keep in mind is anyone which is deceptive, meaning anyone which is erroneous pertaining to the apprehension of the object should necessarily be erroneous with the appearance. Mind which is erroneous with the apprehension is always erroneous with appearance. Mind which is erroneous with the appearance may not be erroneous with the apprehension. You getting it? This is what we need to keep in mind. Okay, so this question requires a more detailed explanation. Okay, so according to Prasangika, even to the valid sense consciousness, and we learned that word, that except for the non-dual mind, all minds are mistaken mind. All minds are mistaken mind. Only if you have a non-dual wisdom, then that mind is not mistaken. Otherwise, all other minds that we have are mistaken. Mistaken with what? Because for all minds, there's always the objective appearance happening. Objective appearance doesn't exist. So therefore, because objective appearance happens all the time, except for the non-dual mind, all other minds are mistaken minds, right? But the mind may not apprehend the things to be objectively real. Although the objects appear to be objectively real, but the mind may not apprehend the object as objectively real. For example, sense consciousnesses will never apprehend object as objectively real. If a mind apprehends something as objectively real, that mind becomes. If there is a mind which grasps at something as objectively real, that mind is known as. Okay, what is that mind which grasps at things as objectively real? What is that mind known as? Self-grasping ignorance, right? Self-grasping ignorance. Okay. Self-grasping ignorance, for example, say when I look at Andrew, it is my eye consciousness looking at Andrew. And my mind consciousness, I'm thinking of this dinner. Right? My eye consciousness looking at Andrew, but my mental consciousness is thinking about the dinner, right? So now, say one is mental consciousness, one is sense consciousness. You're getting it? Self-grasping ignorance is always mental consciousness. It is never sense consciousness. Self-grasping ignorance is always mental consciousness. Likewise, all the emotion, all the afflictions, all afflictions are always mental consciousness. All afflictions are always mental consciousness. Likewise, compassion is always mental consciousness. Likewise, the wisdom of emptiness, always mental consciousness for the non-Buddhas. Keep this in mind. Wisdom of emptiness, compassion, kindness, afflictions, they are always mental consciousness. They are never sense consciousness. Don't forget it. Alright? Okay. So from this, what's validly perceived by the senses are all impermanent phenomena. Answer is not. Not according to Prasangika. Okay. Does it mean then that what isn't validly perceived by the senses are all permanent phenomena? There are also not. For example, say tiger in this hall. Tiger in this hall is what that means that what isn't validly perceived by the senses. Tiger in this hall is not validly perceived by the senses. It's not permanent. Is it impermanent or permanent? Tiger in this hall. Permanent or impermanent? Okay. Tiger in this hall. Is it permanent or impermanent? Huh? No, I do not ask you whether it exists or not exists. My question is whether it's permanent or impermanent. What's the answer? Permanent. I never ask you whether it's existent or non-existent. My question is whether it's permanent or impermanent. Permanent. Very good. As somebody say impermanent now. Huh? Okay, it is neither. Because to say it is permanent or impermanent, the basic criteria is that it should be existent, right? It is neither, right? Don't say that after going to Jambi 11-day retreat, I learned that the tiger in the hall is a permanent phenomena, right? Don't say this, please. Please. Right? I'm sure that many of you will share with your friends there, and particularly with the teachers. Wow, it's amazing experience, amazing. Wow, what have you learned? I learned that the tiger in the Jambi hall is the permanent phenomena. Right? Oh, who taught you that? Oh, Ishila taught it. Right? Okay, please don't say this. At least when you leave this hall, make sure that you learn that tiger in this hall is non-existent and is neither permanent nor impermanent. Right? Only if you know this, then you can go out. Okay. Since permanent phenomena absences of something, can wisdom of emptiness be perceived by the senses? Okay, so this we need. Okay, I think this Li Hui, if this is yours, I'll respond to this separately, right? Because there are several questions and some of them need detailed explanation. Okay, I'll go through little shorter questions. Okay, anyway, those who have many questions, I will choose only one or two, right? And then once covered, then we'll come back. Okay, anyway, we have just 15 minutes more. Can you please explain the Buddhist take on the intuition and how it works? How can we tap into it? Intuition, one is intuition, deja vu, right? And then the hypnotism and so forth. What is the take on this? Okay, intuition, deja vu, these are very possible. Not only possible, they do exist. So hypnotism, that we need to check. Don't easily accept, don't easily reject. Right? Don't easily accept, don't easily reject. So I personally, since that I did not really meet someone actually who does something like this, and particularly a very good, very popular hypnotist, if I would meet with such a person, only then I can have some discussion, and then I make it the idea. Otherwise, I cannot say anything on this hypnotism. Whereas for deja vu and the intuition, these things, they are mostly connected with the imprint. For sure, it's the activation of the imprint. Even in hypnotism, no doubt, activation imprint happening, right? So whether that imprint is coming from this life or past life and so forth, these are all questionable. But for deja vu, for example, say you have never been to, Jambi, right? And you have never seen any picture of Jambi, and you have no clue of Jambi's life. And then suddenly somebody said, oh, there's a Jambi retreat, and the very next night you start having a dream of the Jambi place and meeting with say William, right? And he's taking us into the bus like this. You just had like some kind of dream like this. Then the next day, what is that? Jambi, is it like this? Are we going to meet? And then you actually meet William, then you'll be shocked. Yes, he is exactly one. So these things can happen. So these are all somehow connected with the imprints related to the past. Okay. Then you may be wondering, but William in this particular physical form was not in the past, is of this life. So how that? So these are all connected with saying, what is the future? Is the result of the present. So what is the present is the result of the past. From the past, many things of the future can be predicted. Not only predicted, can be seen. Future can be seen in the form of dreams, in the form of deja vu, in the form of, say, some kind of intuitive thoughts and so forth. These are all there. Okay. can you please explain where Pure Lands exists within the three realms of existence and their purposes? Okay. The Pure Land, say, generally speaking, all the Buddhas, in a very loose sense, strictly speaking, the Buddhas exist in every atom of the universe. Buddhas exist. One single Buddha exists in every atom universe, every atoms of the universe, right? So from that point of view, wherever the Buddha is, the Pure Land is there, right? Now, to speak in a very, say, the ordinary people's perception, right? Oh, the Aravalokiteshvara's Pure Land is in the north direction. Like this, directions are all given there, right? So, to accord with the ordinary people's mentality. Okay. So, Pure Land, 100% it is there. 100% it is there. And oftentimes, the Pure Lands, they are, okay, they may not necessarily be qualified. So, say, within the category of the, okay, this is a little kind of mixture thing, right? See, more in the form of the, for sure it is not in the formless realm. Within the form realm, not really clearly mentioned. In the formless realm, for sure no, because there is no physical body. According to Tantra, yes, but that is a very different concept. According to Sutra, in the formless there is no on the form, so therefore realm in the form of the place where you can take birth and then you can practice the Dharma and receive teachings from the Buddha there. These things all know. Sound is not there, right? And the physical appearance, the movements are not there. So, if whatever you have carried from the past life, that you have to meditate, that's it, in the formless realm. So, in the form realm, such a description I've never seen. I've never seen in the form realm. In the form realm also, people are all just absorbed within yourself, within your own samadhi. They're already expert in the samadhi. They just go into samadhi, right? Now, in the desire realm, then for sure within the desire realm. And the Pure Land, again two things. The Pure Land, which is only accessible to the Gade, Paragade and above. Paragade and above, right? So these things, Pure Land, so they're the Buddha are known as the Sambhogakaya, right? Sambhogakaya, or referred to as the enjoyment body of the Buddha. So only the Aryas, superior beings with the direct realized emptiness, Bodhisattvas, they can get access. Ordinary people cannot get access to it. That is a very high level of the Pure Land. Otherwise, that should be in the, say, the more, in terms of the realms, it should be in the desire realm. Yeah. And of course, the benefit, it says that so there people are more harmonious, and the people fighting with each other and so forth is not seen. People are all into Dharma practice. So these are mentioned there. So therefore, for you to, if you take birth in the Pure Realm, then the possibility to want to practice Dharma is more likely, right? More likely. And then whether should we take birth in Pure Realm or where? In the first place, we need to have requirements for one to take birth there. Enough merit to take birth there. It's not that I'll take the Pure Land, everybody will go there, right? Then the Hell Realm, Hungry Ghost Realm, everything will be open, it will be the what? Vacant. Right? Okay, so everybody will go there. So there are requirements there. There are requirements, merit and so forth. Particularly if you want to take birth in the Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha, then the Aravalokiteshvara. So the uniqueness. So what is the unique quality of these deities? These, if you practice, then these serve as the energy to take birth there. And the uniqueness of Aravalokiteshvara is what? Compassion. Bodhicitta. So the Amitabha Buddha is the Dhyani Buddha of Aravalokiteshvara. So therefore, even to take birth in the Amitabha Buddha, the Pure Land, the basic requirement that one should have is the practice of compassion. Without the practice of compassion, and then you are so angry towards your neighbor, you even don't know how to take care of your family, and you just recite Amitabha the mantra 100,000 million times, and then you show anger towards all the time. I'm not finishing the mantra, right? Why are you disturbing me? Right? Hey, you are sick. Just sick. Go to your brother. Go to brother. Please don't come to me. Right? Go to hospital. Okay, please, I'm not finishing my Amitabha Buddha because I have to go to Pure Land. Impossible. Impossible, right? Practice Bodhicitta, then recite Amitabha Buddha mantra, right? These two things combined together. Then you can hope to take birth there, right? Okay, this is very important. Okay. Okay, what is the minimum requirement for one to realize, to get out of samsara? So finally, minimum requirement is the very strong renunciation is required. Renunciation, you see exactly what renunciation means, right? And the renunciation in the form of the 4 seals, seal number 3 and seal number 4 combined together. From seal number 3, you are abandoning the experience of emptiness. And then within this experience, one transcends sorrow. Then one experiences what? Absolute peace. That is nirvana. So for this, we need a very strong driving force, which is renunciation. And the actual instrument required, and the antidote required, or the instrument required to actually achieve nirvana is the wisdom of emptiness. So with a very strong push force of renunciation, motivation of renunciation, then the actual meditation, and actual meditation on all the 4 seals, precisely the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, this is the requirement. Is it true that practitioner using Vaibhashika viewpoint will not be liberated from samsara because the object of negation is the gross selflessness? Okay, that's very true. Idea is that prasangika, now today things should have become much clearer. Who's ever asked this question? Today we spoke about the 4 selflessness. And the prasangika, okay, if we follow the prasangika tradition, in order to achieve nirvana, one must understand the 5th level of selflessness. One must understand the 5th level of selflessness, the subtlest one. Even if you understand the early versions of the selflessness, if you don't understand the 5th one, it is impossible to be liberated, according to prasangika. Now, Vaibhashika version of the selflessness is number 2. Vaibhashika's version of selflessness is number 2. What is number 2? Selflessness? Selflessness of autonomous substantial reality, right? So this, which is so way gross as compared to the number 5. So therefore, if one simply meditate on the 2nd level of this selflessness, you, however many years you may meditate, no liberation, no nirvana possible. From the point of view of prasangika. Now, whose point of view is correct? Prasangika's point of view is correct, or Vaibhashika's point of view is correct? How do we know this? Anyone? Anyone, very quick? How do we know? What I said now is according to the prasangika. Now, somebody may ask me, how do you know that? But Vaibhashika, their position is different. They say that to experience emptiness, to achieve nirvana, you don't need the 3rd level of the selflessness. We just have the 2nd level, is good enough, it'll take you to nirvana. But Prasangika says, so no, it's impossible. So who's right? How do we know? How do we know who is right? Anyone? Anyone? If if one is to follow, if one is to now, Prasangika, right? They'll try to say their position. Vaibhashika will propose their position. So if you are to follow one of the two traditions, how will you choose? Anyone? Wang Shen, how would you choose? Tell me. Oh, no, you're very intelligent, very young, intelligent boy. You know that. How would you say, if I say that 2 plus 2 equals 4-ish. 2 plus 2 equals 4-ish. And Vishen says, no, 2 plus 2 equals 10. And Man says, 2 plus 2 equals 4. So you don't know how to calculate, how to do the addition. So, and you're a very young boy, age 4. So how will you, or not in the age 4, let's say age 10. So how will you decide which of the three is correct? You can take time. You can take like 2 years, it's fine. So how will you decide? You learn. You study mathematics. Okay, Dorji's version, 2 plus 2 equals 4-ish. Okay, Man's version, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Chengwen's and Vishen's version, 2 plus 2 equals 10. Okay, I will not forget this. I will put them in my record, right? But I don't know which is correct. Okay, never mind. I'll keep it there. I'll not decide. Okay, then you go to mathematics, Albert Einstein. You learn mathematics. After learning this, then you go there. Oh, 2 plus 2, okay, some years ago, 10 years ago in Jambi, right? That happened. 2 plus 2 equals is 4. Oh, Man is correct. Dorji is wrong. Vishen is wrong, right? Man is correct. So only through you learning, then you will know which is right, which is wrong. Likewise, Vaibhashika's version is correct, Chittama's version is correct. First you study what the Vaibhashika is saying. You try to understand exactly what Vaibhashika is saying. And then you study Prasangika. Exactly what Prasangika is saying, you try to understand this. Then you judge. Right? You'll be the right person to judge because you know both the systems so perfectly. You're getting it? This is how we do. Okay. Next, what is the difference in the mode of I don't know, this writing is like my own writing. I can't read it. Okay. What is the difference in the mode of apprehension between Bodhisattva on the first to 7 ground path of seeing and 8 to 10 ground path of meditation? Does Bodhisattva on path of seeing, sees and believes in Blue Snow Mountain? You see the example in class. Whose question is this? Okay, Sir Ken, your handwriting is like my handwriting. Okay, tell me, what is your question?
My question is that you have elaborated on the 2 errors. One is the errors on the appearance, and the second error is the error on the apprehension.
Very good.
So I am just trying to find out is there any difference between the apprehension part for a Bodhisattva who is on the path of seeing versus a Bodhisattva on the path of meditation?
On the level of the appearance or the apprehension?
Apprehension.
Apprehension of the emptiness. Emptiness?
Yes, emptiness.
Okay. So, say Bodhisattva, this is one distinction, very good. What Seok Hen said is very good. Say the Bodhisattva gate, paragate, path of seeing, paragate. Then parasamgate, path of meditation. So path of seeing, path of meditation, you combine together, split into 10. That becomes the 10 bhumis, 10 Bodhisattva grounds. Of the 10, you classify, generally speaking, you split the 10 in 2 groups. Bodhisattva ground 1 to 7 and 8 to 10. Right? This is how we split the 2. Because at that border, at the 8th border, then the Bodhisattvas automatically become Arhat. Automatically become Arhat. They exterminate the self-grasping ignorance fully. 8 bhumi. According to Prasangika, keep this in mind. Okay, those people who are going to do the Narada Master's course, right? Oftentimes the tradition is, no, the system is going to be according to the Savatantrika Madhyamika. What is that? I learned something from Jambi, and now in the Narada Master's course is very different. Okay, there's a system difference. Now Prasangika, so we are on the Prasangika, right? We are at the very advanced level. Prasangika. So according to Prasangika, usually, not usually, as according to Prasangika, when you reach the 8th bhumi, then automatically you achieve nirvana. Nirvana, but not Buddhahood. You achieve nirvana as a bodhisattva. So your nirvana and the arahats, the Shravaka arahat, so the Pratik Buddha arahat, the nirvana is very different. Your nirvana is very, very profound. It is not the same. Okay, now say which Bhumi 8, 9, 10, their apprehension of emptiness, and Bhumi 1 through to 7, their apprehension of emptiness is a difference. This is a question, right? Not only emptiness, I would say non-dual wisdom of emptiness. Do you want to go for that, or you want to go for the any mind? Any. Okay, general. Even general, we would say that naturally, because the 8, 9, 10, self-grasping ignorance, afflictive obscurations, self-grasping ignorance is already cleansed. So the mind is much clearer. As the mind is clearer, the perception of the emptiness is much clearer. Whereas up to Bhumi 7, the self-grasping ignorance is not fully cleared. So the mind is still dull from the point of view. From the point of view of the Prasangika, right? Yeah.
Yesterday you mentioned that, with respect to the cognitive obscuration, so the Bodhisattva still see the appearances as being erroneous, but then he does not believe in it.
That's true.
Okay. So is there any difference between this aspect, with respect to this aspect, any difference between the Bodhisattva on the path of seeing versus the Bodhisattva on a meditation? So the Bodhisattva on the path of meditation already realized emptiness. So
part of seeing also. Huh? Part of seeing also already realized emptiness.
Realized emptiness.
Yeah.
So does the Bodhisattva on the path of seeing believe in what he sees? Okay.
Very interesting. No. Because they have a direct experience of emptiness. So therefore, when they come out of the direct experience of emptiness, they continue. Then the sense consciousness, they start operating. As they operate, they continue to see things, perceive things as objective real. This is just an illusion. For them, things are all seen as illusion. They don't believe.
So the conclusion is Bodhisattva from the 1 to 10.
1 to 7. Oh, you 1 to 10?
All does not believe in what they see.
True. But all are same in not believing in what they are seeing. Not only the Bodhisattvas, even the Shravakas and Pratik Buddhas, right? After part of seeing, they see emptiness directly, the way the Bodhisattvas see, right? They don't believe in the perception. Not only they don't believe, okay, yes, then the question is, how they see when they see the emptiness directly, Bodhisattvas from Bhumi 1 through to 7, and then they say 8 through to 10, all of them equally see emptiness non-dualistically when they are in the meditative experience with emptiness, non-dual. So, within this non-dual experience, is there any difference in the clarity and so forth? This is a question. Answer is yes. This is very standard answer, yes. So what is how do we know this? How do we know this? Okay, imagine, okay, now my eyesight was not as good, right? Say there is a young boy or a young girl, age say like 10, 11, 12, and me, two of us, we are looking at the same very refined, very small letters, right? Very small letters. And the young child looks at it, will read so clearly. And I cannot read it at all, right? Okay. Is it my eye consciousness seeing what is written there? What is written there? Or it is my mental consciousness seeing what is written there? It's my eye consciousness. The young child is also seeing with eye consciousness. While both eye consciousness are seeing the same object directly, right? Am I seeing what is written there directly or indirectly? Directly. Both are seeing them directly, but one sees more clearly than the other. Although both are very direct. Likewise, the mental consciousness, the non-dual experience of the Bhumi from 1 through to 7, they see the emptiness directly, and Bhumi 8 to 10, they see emptiness directly. But within the direct perception, within that, the Bhumi from 8 to 10 is much clearer. What they see is much clearer than what the Bhumi from 1 through to 7 see. Okay, on this basis, on the difference, on the clarity, the truth of the suffering, what is the second truth? Four Noble Truths. What is the second one? Truth of the truth of the origin of suffering or the cause of suffering. What is the third one? Truth of the cessation of suffering, right? That is the true dharma. Truth of the cessation of suffering. Nirvana has to explain on the basis of the truth of the cessation of suffering. So this truth of cessation of suffering, which everyone is aspiring to experience. So that from the Bhumi 1, particularly the Bhumi 1, when you reach the Bhumi 1 of the path of meditation, from there you already start to achieve some degree of the truth of cessation. Some degree of truth of cessation. Now, what is the difference in the truth of cessation between these Bhumis? All the Bhumis, they differ in the truth of cessation. As you go towards the higher level of the Bhumis, the truth of cessation becomes more refined. So, what is that refinement of the truth of cessation? Is seeing this emptiness more clearly, right? So, depending on the truth of cessation, what degree you have, you see the emptiness more clearly. Although all are seeing emptiness non-dualistic or directly. Okay. Yes.
Your to Ohen's question is that means that when the Bodhisattva, even when having afflictive observations, are seeing erroneous appearance but not assenting to it. So what is the difference then between the appearance and apprehension when they still have afflictive obscurations versus when they were having cognitive obscurations? Because yesterday when you were explaining, it seems like it's only when they are having cognitive obscuration that there's this difference between appearance and apprehension.
Yours was very complicated. I don't really follow your question. Okay, maybe the mic. This mic may not be working.
So I think the response is once you achieve the path of seeing,
yes,
then from that moment on, your mind does not apprehend the objects to be objectively existent.
Not necessary. Way before that, you can see emptiness. When you see emptiness, right? You see emptiness, you don't apprehend the object as objectively real.
But only when you have a direct realization of emptiness? No.
Not necessary.
Oh, okay. No, because I thought yesterday when you were explaining about the cognitive obscurations, in that section you were explaining about the appearance and the apprehension of the object, and you were saying that because of the cognitive obscurations, the arahats are still seeing the object appearing as erroneous, but that they are not apprehending it as being
real,
inherently existent. So, but it seems like this ability is existing even when they are having afflictive obscurations. That means you were saying that whoever has
this ability, let's say, although the object appears as objective reality, but you can see the object as empty of objective reality. Is this what you're saying?
Yeah. And
okay, so this is not necessary when you reach the path of seeing. it happens way before, even before you start the journey. For more intelligent people, for the sharp faculty, before you enter into the path, before you enter the gate, you already have the wisdom of emptiness. So this wisdom of emptiness is not a non-dual wisdom. This is a conceptual wisdom. So this conceptual wisdom, conceptual mind is always erroneous pertaining to the appearance. Conceptual mind is always erroneous pertaining to the object of appearance. So the object say, oh, I'm seeing the emptiness of, seeing the emptiness of man, right? So here, what is my object now? What is my object? Oh, I'm meditating on the emptiness of man. What is my object? Huh? Louder, please. No. Okay. Let's say, I'm meditating on this pen. What is my object? Pen. I'm meditating the emptiness of the man. What is the object? Emptiness of the man, right? Okay, that's right. Disappearance of the man. Okay, emptiness of the man. Now, so let's say this is the emptiness of man, right? So this is the emptiness of man. Now I'm meditating on this. So this emptiness, this object appears as objectively real. Emptiness of the man appears as objectively real, right? But the mind does not view this emptiness of object as objectively real. Apprehension-wise, it is correct. There is no error. Appearance-wise, there is error. That happens to all conceptual experience of emptiness, and which can be possible way before you enter into the path. Right? Okay. Maybe the last question? Okay. Could you verify if you mention this statement, flower is not different from its parts? Okay, this is a good question. If so, can you please elaborate, clarify? We are confused and mixed up. Essential point 2 and 3. Thank you. Okay. So, the flower is not one with the parts. How many of you agree with this? Flower is not one with its parts. We all agree. Flower is not different from the parts. How many of you agree with us? Okay. Flower, is it not different from the parts? Flower and the flower and the flower's parts. Are these two one or different? Are these two one or different? Are these two one? Are these one? These two are not. These two are different. So, but we learned that the flower is not different from the parts, right? We learned that as the second essential. So this contradicts with the flower and the parts to be different. Okay, so how do you say? So the flower, I did say this, flower is not different from its parts, but it should be understood as flower is not objectively different from its parts. Not objectively, because when we go into the atoms, you go into the object, or you go into the subject. You go into the object to see where's the flower, right? So the flower that you are looking for is not objectively different from the parts. This is the best way to put. Rather than saying the flower is not different from the parts. Instead you say flower is not objectively different from the parts. Okay, very good. Okay, now I think we'll stop here. We'll stop here, and the remaining questions we'll do tomorrow. Okay, dedication prayer or? Okay, yes. Okay, just a quick dedication. Page 309. Page 309. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. The path of the union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protector of the Dharma and the beings of the snowland. You are the lotus soul that Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Adam and Yusri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even in the course of my life.